at 2440 R Street.
Unfortunately, houses catch fire. Are you and your family prepared if your house catches fire?
Hi, I'm Matthew Van Hagen with Merced City Fire Department. We hope you enjoy our video today and pick up some lessons to share with your family. Today, we'll be talking about EDITH. What does EDITH stand for? Exit drill in the home. We'll take a look at what an exit drill in the home looks like and the important things that you and your family can do to prepare. Practicing can save lives. Some of the important topics we'll cover are: what phone number do you call an emergency, and what is an emergency? What is and is not a good meeting place? Where are my smoke detectors and have they been tested? How to properly and safely exit your home in an emergency. Our hope is that you share this video with your family and create a plan to keep everyone safe in the event of a fire emergency in your home. My first question for you today is, what number do you call in the event of an emergency? Did you say 911? Then you were correct. Good job. We know what number to call, but when do we call this number? Do we call if we can't find our skateboard? No, we do not. Do we call if someone has fallen and isn't responding to us? Yes, that is a good time to call. Do we call 911 if we can't tie our shoes? No, we do not call 911 for that. What about if someone in your family is choking and can't breathe? Good choice. That is when we call 911. Lastly, let's talk about calling 911 if your home is on fire. Should we call 911 from inside our home? No, we should go to our meeting place first and then worry about 911. Now that we've gone over 911, let's talk about choosing a proper meeting place. A meeting place is something outside your home that does not move and is easy for you to remember. Is a car a good meeting place? No, a car is not in the same place all the time. Is the mailbox a good meeting place? Yes, a mailbox is a great meeting place. Is a dog a good meeting place? No, a dog is not a good meeting place. Is a tree a good meeting place? Yes, a tree is a great meeting place. Now that we know what number to call and where to meet, let's talk about smoke detectors. Smoke detectors save lives, but only if they work. Please talk with your family about where your smoke detectors are, then set a schedule for testing them monthly and changing the batteries out annually. Now that we've gone over those items, let's jump into the exit drill. Can you jump with me? Now that we're inside, let's go over a couple important things to remember. Smoke from a fire rises, so if there's smoke in the house, stay low to remain in fresh air. If needed, crawling may be appropriate. When you're going to open a door, always check the door first to make sure it isn't hot. You can do this by placing the back of your hand against the door. If it's not hot, you can slowly open the door to check for a safe exit. If you can't go out the door, should you hide in your room? No. If the door is too hot, then you will place a blanket at the bottom of the door to keep the smoke out and use your second exit. Most rooms have two ways out, the door and the window. If you can't get out the window, or maybe you live on the second floor, take something, wave it out the window, and yell for help. With these principles, we hope you can make some simple decisions in the event of a fire. I want you to meet some of my helpers today. They're going to assist us and illustrate what a planned exit drill looks like. The smoke detector sounded, alerting you that a fire has started in the house. Safely, crawl to your door and check it for heat. The door was cool to the touch, so they slowly opened the door, looked to see if it was safe, and exited the house. Where did they go from there? Did they go to a friend's house? No, they went to their meeting place. Great job. Let's take a look at a different scenario. The smoke detector sounded, alerting you that a fire has started in the house. Safely, crawl to your door and check it for heat. The door was hot to the touch. You grab your blanket and place it at the bottom of the door. You proceed to the window and exit safely. Where are they going? Yes, the meeting place. Great job. Let's rewind real quick. What if your window is on the second story? Your other family members will be at the meeting place and tell us where your room is. Make sure you are loud and use something to get the firefighters' attention. Our first priority is your safety, then we'll worry about the fire. Let's look at one more scenario. What if you're not in your room? As you can see, it is vital that you make a plan on how to get out of every room in your house in case there's an emergency. On behalf of the City of Merced Fire Department, we thank you for keeping your family safe. And remember, practice your exit drills and don't forget about those smoke detectors.
All right, and thank you to Merced Fire Department for bringing us the first part of our announcements today, because it is National Fire Prevention Week. And so we wanted to make sure to start our announcements this week for that important message to keep us safe at home with some fire prevention tips. So thank you to our Merced Fire Department for that as we kick off our announcements for this week. Now, let's make sure to give our attention to Miss Saley's class.
Alrighty, Prairie Dogs. I have my friends from Miss Saley's class that are going to help us with the announcements.
Hands to the top, right hand over your heart, ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
All right, and thank you from our students from Miss Saley's class for leading us in our pledge. Now, it is Monday, and that means it is Marvelous. So we look forward to seeing everybody in their marvelous gear on Mondays here at Pioneer. Now, we do have some reminders. So let's remember, Prairie Dogs, that in the cafeteria, we need to remember that we need to use our inside voice. The reason why that's important is that we need to be able to hear in case there's an emergency. Let's say that there's a student that's having a hard time because they didn't quite chew their food up and is choking. We need to be able to hear that they need help. So let's not forget to use our inside voice. Let's also remember that we need to make sure that we're walking. If we're running, then we can slip and we can fall and we can get hurt. So let's remember to walk. We need to make sure that we remain seated so that we're not running into each other. And then we need to make sure that we're throwing away our trash once we're done eating so we keep our cafeteria nice and clean. So Prairie Dogs, let's remember those cafeteria behavior and expectations. And let's also remember that at recess, when the bell rings and the whistle blows, we need you to freeze. The reason why we need you to freeze is before we had too many accidents where the bell rang and then students were running around and trying to run to class and would run into each other and slip and fall. We need you to freeze. That gives us time to make sure that all the equipment gets returned, that we remember that we're going to walk. And so when that whistle blows again, we walk to class. Again, Prairie Dogs, we do this so that we remain safe while we're here at school. So let's remember to follow these behavior expectations. And our superhero training, we want to thank our pause room and Miss Mooningham. We so far have been trained in the powers of responsibility and respect. Now, let's not forget that if we don't continue to practice those, we're not going to get better. But for this month, our superpower is restraint. And remember, that's being able to control your actions, words, and emotions. It's about making careful choices and staying calm especially when you feel upset or are tempted to do something wrong. And no better example of that than in the book, My Mouth is a Volcano, where our character in the book just always has something to say and wants to just shout it out because his mouth is a volcano and he can just not hold back. But how does he feel when he learns other people's mouths are a volcano? All right, it's a great story. Make sure to click on the link for the read aloud for this month's superpower, which is restraint. And thank you, Miss Mooneyham and the Pause Room for bringing us our superpowers each month. All right, and we continue to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, which lasts from September 15th to October 15th. And this week, we want to recognize the author and writer Gary Soto, who his work inspires and gives a true illustration of what it's like growing up being Mexican American in the barrios that he lived in. And so this week, we recognize Miss Gary Soto and his work as the author and all of his prolific writing that really highlights what it's like to be a Mexican American here in the United States, and especially in the area that he grew up, which isn't far from us, just south in Fresno, California. All right, this week we do have bands, so let's make sure that we are bringing our instruments each and every day. We will have quite a different band schedule next week with all the minimum days, but for this week, we do have our regular band schedule. We'll finish up with our student council meetings for this week. We want to thank just all the hard work that goes into student council and our ASB advisors and our student council members. Keep up the great work for us. Thank you, guys. All right, and this Wednesday, we do have a special celebration with our CAASPP and reclassification pinning. This will be for grades 3 through 5 and will be Wednesday, October 9th at 8:30. All right, and we do have early release as well this Wednesday. Again, that will be grades K through 5 at 12:55. TK is through the normal times. And remember, students, we really appreciate the help that we get on these days. We make sure that this isn't a time to play. We want to make sure that everyone gets home safely. And so make sure that you're paying attention and you're not running around. We will have a fire drill to continue to practice at school how we get around to make sure that we remain safe, especially during this fire prevention week. And congratulations to all of our students that worked hard and braved the heat. It was hot in Winton. Our cross-country team did a great job, and they'll continue to work hard this week as they have practice on Thursday from 3 to 4. And then we will have our next cross-country meet in just a couple weeks in Planada on Friday, October 25th. So keep up the hard work to all of our prairie dogs running cross-country. And then on Thursday, our executive student council officers will also have their meeting after school from 3 to 4. Right. And this Friday, it is a short month because we will be tracking off here in just a couple more weeks. So we will be celebrating our October Student of the Month Prairie Dogs at our special flagpole ceremony. And so make sure to our Student of the Month flagpole celebration will be this Friday. And we'll have Miss Nelson's class help leading us, getting us pumped up. And as always, leading us will be our president and vice president, Miss Alina and Bella. Now, we do have some special shout-outs this week. We want to make sure to recognize Miss Smith, Miss Crystal, and all the team of volunteers that it took for our Wander Off into Space. They really turned that library into space and an awesome book fair. So thank you for all the hard work that it took for us to have that opportunity here at Pioneer. And with that goes our quote of the week, which is from Mr. Gary Soto, which said, "You can always spot bright people. They're reading a book." So, Prairie Dogs, make sure that we continue to read all of those books. And we want to give a special shout out to Mr. Ricky. Mr. Ricky has been working hard, and he's been doing so many great things for our school, and is always looking to do more. He's been awesome and looks for ways to serve students. He has created a cart for students to get breakfast before going to class if they get to school a little bit late. He recognizes how important it is for students to have food so that they're ready to learn. And then he also has amazing talents that he shares and has created a video for all of us to enjoy. Just a little preview of what it was like at last week's Pioneer Pumpkin Patch that we'll have at the end of our announcements today. So, Mr. Ricky, we just really wanted to thank you for all the great things that you're doing for Pioneer and all of our prairie dogs. And we also had a shout out to congratulate all of our first grade students who completed all their homework in September. Now, all those students were entered into a raffle drawing and winners were chosen from each class. Make sure you keep doing your homework every day so that you can be entered into our next month's drawing. And we want to recognize these students from the following classes. From Miss Brummel, we had Miss Claire P. Miss Butler, we had Jonathan E. From Miss Chrissy, we had Chasey. From Miss Davy, we had Jackson. From Miss Jensen, we had Ivy. From Mr. Lee, we had Gilbert. And from Miss Weber, we had Briella. And from Miss Whitfield, we had Brittany J. So congratulations to all those students. Make sure to keep up the great work. And a special shout out to a fourth grade student who is pursuing his dreams and working hard, and that's Mr. Isaac Z. Last week, he competed in his first international event. Last year, he competed in one of his first national events and was a national champion. This year, competing at an international event, and through all of his hard work and dedication, he came out victorious and is now your 2024 international champion. So great job, Isaac. Make sure to keep working hard as you pursue your dreams, and one day we can't wait to watch you in the Olympics. Keep up that great work, Isaac. All right. Prairie Dog families, you still have opportunity to get those yearbooks. Now it is past the date for the 10% off, but it is still the codes here. So if you're looking to buy those yearbooks, make sure to follow the information on the screen. And next week, make sure that we do know that we have Spirit Days coming off. So we do have our Trek Off Dress Up Days that are listed there for you. We look forward to celebrating and having a lot of spirit before we go off for our winter or our fall break. And put it on your calendars early and now. Our fourth grade will be having a fundraiser Wednesday, November 13th at the Chipotle. That's right by the school on Campus Parkway from 4 to 8. Percentage of those proceeds go back to the school. That helps the fourth grade and all of the fun events that they have planned for their fourth grade students. So make sure to get that on your calendar, Prairie Dog families. Right, and let's not forget, Prairie Dogs, that when we are at school and out in the community, let's make sure that we're great examples of how we use the peace path. Remember, Prairie Dogs, when we get upset, we have choices that we can make with how we react. Now, when we take 3 deep breaths and calm our body and our brains down, that allows us to make a good decision of either to talk it out, walk away, make a new friend, or get help. But remember, we want to make sure that we're using our positive plan, and while we're present at school and using the peace path, we're always kind, we're working hard, and we're being successful, Prairie Dogs. Now, when we do those things, we make sure that we have a lot more fun at school. Remember, we always need to make sure, though, we're keeping our hands and our feet to ourselves and other objects. And remember, that's that word, Cape Footy. Thank you, Prairie Dogs, and let's make sure to continue to be examples of how we can use the peace path and make good decisions while we're at school. And again, we just wanted to say thank you to our student council and our ASB advisors for all their hard work. We had such a wonderful pumpkin patch this year, and make sure to stay tuned, Prairie Dogs, because we do have a short video of what it was like at this year's Pioneer Pumpkin Patch brought to us by Mr. Ricky. So again, thank you to everyone involved. All right, Prairie Dogs, that's what we have for you this week. Let's make sure that we are working hard. And remember, each one of you is great. Just allow yourselves to be. Make sure to stay tuned for the video of this year's pumpkin patch and this week's birthday announcements. Have a great week, Prairie Dogs.
Thank you.